I thought I'd show you guys all this stuff here. So these are knob and tube electrical insulators, and this is just another find from my auction that I went to from the Science and Tech Museum this past summer. Great little auction. So these are knob and tube insulators. These are made of porcelain ceramic, and you don't see these being used anymore, of course, but you may have a house or have lived in a house that used these kinds of things. I know around here a lot of insurance companies won't insure your house if your house uses knob and tube, mainly because it's just the wiring would be very, very old and it would need to be updated. So the way these things work, you just have a wire like that, and then the cap goes on like that, and then you just drive a nail through there, and so that would attach the wire to like a sideways onto a floor joist, and so that's what those would be used for. And these ones here would be for I guess you would just drill a hole through a floor joist, and then you could run the wire through that. Pretty sure that's what that is. Not certain on that, but you get the idea. See, there are some which just has a nail all the way through it, has a little washer on it, and I'm not sure what those are for. And same with these guys. I don't know what these are. What these would be used for. Got a bunch of them, and I got some other screw-in type insulators. And I got a whole bunch of porcelain lamp sockets, well, porcelain lights. They're pretty neat. Got like that. Nice little porcelain switch. So all very vintage and all worth something. So what I will do is I'm going to sell all these in one big lot. All these little knobs. I've already counted them. There's 166. There's 332 pieces in total. So I'm going to sell all these in one lot. I thought about like dividing it into maybe 3 lots. The problem is that if you look closely, there's a few different kinds, a few different styles, like that one. They're all different, and that one's different. Same with these ones. They're kind of all have little variations to it, so I may have some of these lids may not match the insulators, so I thought I'll just go and sell it all in one big lot. The only problem with doing that is the weight. These things are heavy, it's made of porcelain, so they do have a bit of weight, so you're going to lose the money that it's going to be a high shipping amount, so you're going to your customer's going to have to pay a lot of money in shipping, and then so you won't get as much money when you go to sell it, because you'll have to compensate for that high shipping cost. Anyways, but that's what I'll do, one big lot, and I've been trying to price them out on eBay. Trying to price them out on eBay, and it's not too bad. Some of them sell okay money. Here's a couple here, like there's one with a whole bunch of different pieces for $50. These ones here I'm going to sell separate. These are the tubes. I'll sell these in one lot, and then what I'll do is I'll probably sell these ones. Maybe I'll throw these in here. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll throw them in with this, and yeah, so I'm not too sure yet exactly what I'll do with the rest. Probably all the light sockets will go together. Maybe I'll sell these ones separate by themselves. I'll sell these by themselves, and then this maybe, and that. So I should make a little bit of money from all this stuff. It's funny though, because my dad's an electrician, and he would always rip this stuff out of people's houses and throw them in dumpsters. But yeah, whoever knew they had value. Here's an old vintage laptop we just found. It's kind of cool looking. It's a Toshiba 3100. Look at that thing. old keyboard. There's a couple here that sold 120, and then a few that have been sold for parts or repair. Plug it in, see what happens. Turn it on. See what happens. Memory test. There's lots of streaks. Doesn't look that great. It's, I guess you could say it's a portable computer, but there's no battery unit. Maybe a battery, some sort of battery unit went in there, but it still needed a cord to plug into the wall. All it has is a printer, some sort of communication, and a monitor. That's it, on off. Playing around with one of these laser masks tonight. Laser masks. Laserdisc player. Playing around with it tonight. Right now I was just trying to read the disc, the imaginary disc that's not in there. So this one here, tray sticks. Let's see if it get it opened up here. Ta-da! Working. I replaced this guy right here. That guy, oh, I gotta be careful. The power supply is right there. Yeah, I replaced that one there. There's another one back here that I haven't replaced yet. It's bigger. I may not do that because it seems to be working fine. So I ordered all these packages from China on eBay. They're really cheap. They're like, I think $3 or $4 a pack with shipping included. So I bought a bunch of them, and they're all the same. They're all like this. They're all the same. The contents are the same in each one. Anyways. So they're pretty much the same thickness. I don't have, this is the one that's, you have to be careful because you get them mixed up. This is the one that came from my Laserdisc player. And so the ones that came in, they're a little bit thinner. They're a little bit more thin. Not by much though. By maybe a couple millimeters. So I have a little caliper here. I've turned it on, put it on the very edge, and just when I feel a little bit of resistance, I stop. So 63, and then I take another one. So the idea is that it is stretched over a period of time. So you want to find one that is a little bit tighter. Like that one there, actually. That's pretty good. But not too tight. But a little bit tighter. They say about 10%. So actually that one's pretty good. Good old Dolores Claiborne. Oh, Dolores, why'd you kill your mama? Like I said, one day I'll watch the rest of it. Just always the opening scene is Dolores throwing her mama down the stairs. Alright, spin, spin, spin. This one looks pretty good. So what I've been doing is saving all of my VCRs. You know, even like these little Walkmans, they have little belts inside as well. So I'll test them out and see if they work. If they don't work very well, I'll replace the belts, and then I will try it again. These are all the VCRs that I have. Even the VCR, yeah, it's a VCR DVD combo there. And you know, even I can advertise in my listing that I've replaced the belts, and so people will like to see that. Guys, it is Monday today, and I have some stuff to ship out. I'm going to show you a few things that I sold over the weekend, some more unique items that you may not really think of that might sell. And all this stuff here I got either for free or I bought it at an auction for very little amount of money. Usually I like to buy big box lots and see what I find in the lots. But otherwise, things have been donated to me or I just gone for free. Not stealing, of course, but whatever other means that I have obtaining, you know, finding stuff at the side of the road, you know, things like that. I got this place a little bit brighter, and I'll show you why. My work area is a little bit brighter. I installed a couple lights up here. There's one there. And where's the other one? Right there. So you can see here my work area is a lot nicer, a lot brighter. All right, this thing here, I am going to admit I really don't know what it's for. It is some sort of refrigeration, electronic, there's the title there. So TIF 4000 electronic refrigeration case thing. I don't know. Anyways, so it comes with a couple leads. I think I've had this listed maybe for a few months, and I think I when I was doing my research, I kind of figured out what it does. But right now, to be honest, I wouldn't be able to tell you what it does if my life depended on it. Electronic refrigeration sight glass with case and leads for $35. It's going to Texas, guys. So $21 track pack to Texas. That came in a box lot from the auction I went to from the Science and Tech Museum. Another thing, now these are a whole bunch of doorknobs, vintage door hardware, antique door knobs, stuff like that. $55, $20 shipping. I think that's just Ontario, going to Ontario. And here's what it is. So it's just all these old locks. These are actually, some of these are from my renovation. So I had a whole bunch of these old doorknobs on the doors upstairs, and I think this was one of them that I can't remember now, but anyways, all these, I had some old doors, and I took the things out, and so anyways, I just threw them all in a big lot rather than parting them out. I think that was my son's doorknob, or door handle, for a long time there. So instead of listing it all out separate, I just put in one big lot, and $55. Can't complain, that's pretty good. It's been up for a few months. Same with this one here, it's been up for a couple months, and it's just a small sale, $17. It's a realistic microphone, and I think it has how many pins? It's a 5-pin connector, so whatever you need, like a CB radio that would have 5-pin connectors. So this one's practically brand new. It's never been used, but it's, I guess, new old stock you would call it. And then $15 for shipping, and that's Ontario. This little lot here is going to BC, British Columbia, here in Canada, and these are ferrite EMI noise filters. So you can wrap some electrical wire around that and use that as a electronic magnetic interference filter. So these are pretty big ones. Usually, that one has a little bit of chip right there. Usually they're pretty small, and you know, you can these things haven't been used. So yeah, it's just the 6 of them all together in one piece. $13 and $20 for shipping, or $19.42 for shipping. Going to BC because they are a bit heavy. All right, last thing here. This is a Sony Walkman, and this thing has been up for a year, over a year, I think. But it's very light, and I sold this thing for $100 with the headphones. And the headphones have one. This thing is pretty worn, but this is going to Ontario, and it's one of those addresses. It looks like it's a overseas type of an overseas shipping company. You know, when someone from another country buys something, they go through one of these shipping companies and they mail it out to them. So $100 and $13.79 for shipping going to Toronto. So that's a nice little sale, man. Oh man, don't be afraid to list your stuff high. So this is just this one is, I remember doing the research, and I think I showed you guys in a video a long time ago that this is close to the one that was used in Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but it's not the one. The Guardian of the Galaxy movie, the one where he uses in that movie, those Walkmans sell for ridiculous amounts of money. But this one isn't. It's the same, family, I guess, but not the same one. It's it's a newer type. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Don't be afraid to list your stuff high and wait for it, guys, because it will come. So I'm going to package that up and get that shipped out today. It being Monday and all, pretty busy. One last thing I want to say about this thing is that, so obviously I bought this at an auction. I don't know if it's what its working function is, or if it is actually going to perform its working function. So I did put batteries in it, and the light did come on. That's about all I did. So that being said, I still am listing it in good working condition. And let's say the person gets it and it's not working, it's doing something that it's not supposed to do. It's on me, right? Like I feel confident enough to list this as a good working unit, so that there's no reason for me to think that it's broken otherwise. But yeah, let's say they turn it on and it's not working. They can just open up a refund, a return case, and then it's up to me to return it. So it's just your comfort level. You know, you get stuff like this and you don't really know what it does. Do you feel confident that it's a working item? And stuff like this, yes. In the past, I have said that I'll say stuff like unable to test and unknown working condition, stuff like that. And I've found in the past that when you do that, it takes a long time for your item to sell, first of all, and it just gives people doubts that they think that you're trying to scam them or something along those lines. Like, yeah, so it just sounds fishy to them. I guess it just depends on whatever you're selling, but unless it's something that is obviously broken and you're just selling it as for parts. But this thing here, yeah, I think that's all I want to say. This thing here is just, I feel confident that it will work. But if there is something that goes wrong with it, then it's up to you to refund them or get them to pay for the return shipping back, and then refund them the purchase amount and their original shipping too. So something like this, yeah, I'd probably just give them a straight refund. But I feel confident that that's going to be fine. So I've also seen people, like when I'm doing research, and people will say stuff like that. They'll say selling for parts or repair, unable to test, unknown working condition, and will not accept returns under any circumstance. So I think we all know that eBay is a fail-safe place for customers to shop, where they're not going to be scammed in any sort of way, and they can always just open a return case no matter what you're saying. So let's say you're saying parts or repair, you know, blank. Even then, you can still open up a return case and ask them to pay for the return shipping and stuff. So just keep that in mind, guys. But I've hardly ever have any problems. I don't think I've had a return case in a while, but not saying it doesn't happen. It happens, you know, I may get one or two a month here and there. Just depends on that one or two returns a month that would be my fault. Basically, the item doesn't work or something went wrong. I'll get returns for other reasons, like they didn't like it or it doesn't fit, you know, things like that, where they pay for the return shipping. Yep. But no, I'm still doing pretty well with eBay sales, and just don't be scared to, you know, stand behind your product. I think that's all I want to say. Hero's been a good boy. He's been a good dog for us. The only thing with this guy is that he barks a lot, and he's just very protective of us, which is really nice. He just barks nonstop. You leave him outside, and we can't get it. We can't control it. I actually went and bought 2 different barking collars, and I have both of them on him at the same time, and it doesn't faze him. He just continues to bark. It's incredible. I don't know what to do. But it's all good. We still like him. Alright, it's about noon, and I want to hit the road. This is some scrap that has been just been throwing it in the truck as I've been cleaning stuff up. you know, taking stuff apart. I took apart this boiler and a bunch of other stuff in here. Took apart the furnaces, dishwasher, a whole bunch of stuff. So just throwing the little pieces in the truck as I go. And so truck hasn't moved in a couple days. Now I gotta go. So I'm gonna go drop that off at the scrapyard. I'll make a couple bucks at least. I'm sure their scrapyard is gonna be really slushy and messy, and so I'm kind of not looking forward to going. So after the scrapyard, I'm gonna go to the shop, pick up what they have for me there. And then after that, I'm gonna drop this off. This is a Technics. It's an SL-P1200. It's a CD player. And this thing I picked up at an auction. Came with a box lot of a whole bunch of stuff. This auction, man, I just keep mentioning it. The Science and Technology Museum auction. That I picked up a whole bunch of stuff for super cheap. And this is another little gem that I found recently. So it's a Technics CD player from I guess mid 80s, late 80s. And so what happens is you turn it on, powers up, but the CD doesn't spin at all. So I'm hoping that a little repair shop can fix it for me, at least find the problem. And I called around for a few, and this one guy, he works out of his house, and he says $30 to diagnose it, and plus that $30 goes towards any repairs. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. Here, let me look this up on eBay for you guys. All right, Technics CD player. There's 15 listings here. I'll just filter them lowest to highest. So there's the manuals for it. It's a remote control. I didn't even know it had the remote control. This one here, he's selling it broken for $300. Incomplete, $500. Works great, $550. $660, $1,000, $1,100, and $1,300. Let's look at the sold ones. All right, well, sold. When I looked at before, there were more listings here, but this is the sold one. So this one sold for $737. There's another one there. Went for bidding for $550. This one here, $974. Pretty nice, eh? So that's pretty good. So definitely think I'll put in a little bit of money into this. And if I can get it going for a couple $100, I think it would be worth it for me, because I got it for practically nothing. I don't even remember how much I paid for it. I mean, I've made back all my money from that auction and more. So everything else from here on out is just pure profit for me. So just put a little bit of money into this guy and see if I can get working. It's nice. It's really, really heavy unit too. It's just big and chunky, and I don't know, all these cool buttons and stuff. And neat stuff. So let's see if I can sell that on eBay. We'll see. The other thing I was working on last night, I picked up this freezer from a guy close by. He replied to my Kijiji ad, and he said it had a thermostat control problem. So I opened it all up. You know, it's a bit rusty down here, so I don't know if I'll do anything with this, or I'm not too sure what I want to do. So anyways, I took apart this thermostat, and this wire is burnt. Well, you can't really tell maybe, but it's got a big burn mark in here. And when I tapped it out, a whole bunch of ash came out. So thinking that this thermostat is actually fine, and all I would need to do is put a new connector on that, and away you go. So because he was saying it would shut off periodically, and all he would have to do is just wiggle the thermostat and it would work again. So anyways, now I just have to figure out if it's worth it for me to, if you know, I could easily just put a new connector on there and put this all back together and sell it as is, as a good working unit, or I can try and part it out, you know, thermostat like that, maybe 50, little fan motor here for, you know, maybe $20. Really not a heck of a lot on this thing to sell. I could even sell the knob for the thermostat. But it's a big freezer for sure. So The other thing can sell is a compressor. It has a relay on it, and there's a timer thing here. So there's not a heck of a lot of parts on this thing that you can try and sell. So I just have to weigh the options on if I should part it out or sell it as a whole. I'm not sure yet. Neat little thing here. Let's just show you guys now. Oh. This is a power supply unit, very old, digital H7100. It's from 1981. 1981 memory supply unit. I have no idea what this thing came from, but picked that up in my drop-off bin the other day. Nice old board. So not really a heck of a lot going on in there, except this capacitor is just gigantic. 4500 microfarad. There's 2 of them in there, and then yeah, just a whole bunch of aluminum. These little resistors here. These little resistors, I sell those used in lots. I sell them all the time. So anyways, just thought I'd show you that. It's really big and heavy. Kind of a neat little thing. I have no idea what it's for, but picked that at the drop-off bin the other day. Just made it back home. The CD player is gone. I asked him about these belts, and he said check eBay, which I found kind of funny. Yeah, so the CD player, $30. He's going to look it over and he's going to get back to me. It seems like a pretty good place to go to. It's just it's out of his house, so you know he doesn't have very much overhead to cover. So you know I think that's better. Anyways, a little bit of scrap from the shop. A couple pieces of aluminum there. A whole bunch of these little scrap bits in here. Copper and brass. More brass. It's good stuff. So stuff like this. When it has the pecs on like that, what I do is I just cut it, you know, right at the plastic, and I leave that little band, which is actually copper. I leave that on, and I'll just throw that whole thing in with my regular brass, rather than having to cut off the bands and everything. My scrapyard doesn't mind that little bit of plastic, or at least they haven't said anything about it before. The rest of the day I'm going to go to what's it called? Holiday train. So it's this train that goes across Canada, and it is just covered in Christmas lights, so it should be fun. It's a little tradition that the family does, and every year we go and just check out this train. It's pretty neat. And we haven't done it every year, but we've done it a few years. Just a little fun thing to do with the kids. And yeah, it should be fun. I'll show you what it looks like.
We can get started.
decorations bought at Tiffany's.